Oh, I didn't see you there. What's going on, everyone? My name is Brett Klauser. I want to help you grow your business, particularly solopreneurs or people that are starting out their business. And my goal here is to help you understand some of the key things to consider when working on your website. And overall, the goal here is obviously to improve site traffic, increase conversions, drive sales, build credibility and trust, all the things that are necessary to grow your business online. So I'm going to get started and share a little bit about a case study with one of my good friends, Slavin. He runs a photography studio out of Portland, Oregon, and I'm going to go through his website with you so you can kind of understand some of the things to consider when optimizing your site, which will hopefully, grow your business and drive sales. A little bit about myself. I'm Brett Klauser. I'm a digital product designer, web designer. I do UI and UX for some of the biggest companies in the US. I thought it would be interesting to share some of the knowledge base with you in a more practical way for you as a small business owner. So let's get started. Okay, now we're landing on Slavin's website. So, he is a real estate photographer, obviously working with real estate agents. Again, um, I will go through some issues I have with this site and how we can improve it to hopefully, increase conversions, reduce bounce rate, etc. So let's first look at the site navigation. Obviously, it's pretty evident that it's massive. It's taking over almost a third of the viewport. This is really, really poorly done. You're wasting a lot of prime real estate for the site, no pun intended. The homepage hero is the most important part of any website. It is what the first thing people see when they land, and so it should have a lot of consideration, and it should be communicating all of the elements that you need to communicate up front. So let's look at the site navigation in general. He's got a site architecture, a general homepage, about him, his services, portfolio work, and then a call to action here to book. And then he also has a second call to action to email. So a few things, obviously reducing the size, like even on scroll, this is still massive. It should only be the height from the top of the screen here to about this text, 60 to 80 pixels, and it's wasting a lot of space. And then obviously below the fold or below the navigation here, we've got this dead space, and then the image kind of sits at the bottom and the text sits at the bottom. So this is a really kind of a really easy way to make some small adjustments for his overall site that could really improve um, retention, and also build trust and hopefully get some conversion. So a few things with the site navigation. He's got two call to actions, a book now and an email us. I'll also point to this because this is an overlay here. It's a fixed book now button on the bottom right. So he's got kind of like three CTAs that are different within the landing page hero itself. One thing is we don't want to have two different call to actions in the site navigation. It should be a single CTA. It should be clear. It should have high contrast. So similar to this button, how it's a dark button on a light background, I'd want to see some version of that here on the top right. So especially as you scroll down the page, you always have the call to action that's available that a user can come and click through to perform the function that they're on the site to do. So that being said, other things I would probably suggest, like this logo, is visually not doing anything for me from a design standpoint. It's also a pixelated image. I can see the text is blurry, and it also doesn't pass accessibility. So for this site, I would also suggest both to save space and also since it is a solopreneur, that the logo is not really doing much. It's not adding value from a design standpoint. I would remove it and instead just have his name be plain text, Slavin Hurtado, and that work as the home link. We don't really need the word home here within the navigation. The name Slavin Hurtado should act as the home navigation. And as you can see here, like this is not, I'm clicking on this and it's not navigating. So it's you want your logo to be navigating a user always to the home page, and that reduces like the need to have a separate tab here like he has shown. We've also got services, this like drop down, so it looks to be like a container with five different site pages. My suggestion would be do one page called services. That services includes a top level overview. So let's go into one of these. Yeah, so he's got a lot of description and some images. Obviously, the images are really valuable here because that's still photos of real estate. And he's got drones. He's got some drone photos here, and Matterport, which is the 3D plans, I believe. So he's also got a model not available. So that's if I'm here and I'm like I want the Matterport, you know, um, that should be updated because I can't see his Matterport work here. But anyways, in general, he's got a lot of pages here to reduce the friction. I would have just a single services page. On that services page, have a hero, which is like the services of my business, and then go into the different services. So photos, drone, Matterport. I know he also does video and he also does social content for properties as well. So I think, as he builds out his services, I think they can all be embedded within a single page and using, a bit of an image block with text. And then if someone needs more information, these would be sub pages that they could click to from there. But on the general services page, I would have, key imagery from each section to, ultimately sell the service. I'd also include pricing there. He seems to have pricing separate. Yeah, so this is pretty poorly done. Okay, these are clickable links, but the hover is a text edit, which is incorrect UX. There's no active state, there's no hover state. So if I land on this, I may not even know that these are selectable based off of my mouse behavior here. And also, he's saying this is a pricing page, but then you know the pricing is the last thing in a very small text. So it's not super clear. I would add more prominence to pricing, and I would also have these as separate cards rather than having to select through them because this is also a bad UX to have a user having to click through each of these things. So I would do a big lift on the services page, and then once the services page is done, we'd fold that into back into the homepage. So if we did that, we would also have a section below the hero here where it'd be services, blah blah blah, and then he's got drone, floor plans, video, Matterport, and social campaigns or what other services he has, and then those could just be with icons, an image, and some key text, and then a single CTA could direct you to the general services page, and you could also have a learn more for each individual service if you needed to go into these ones where there's a bit more detail. But I imagine like most people are kind of use the visuals as the key element. So I'd have just a key section where it's just the services, and then click through to the services page, and on that page have some key visuals, some key text, and don't overload the user at that point, and then allow them to dive deeper into one of these individual pages to learn more. Okay, I know I went off because we're going into site navigation. Um, yeah, I would maybe have pricing as its own separate separate thing here in the site navigation, and maybe I don't know how pricing works if you have packages or if it's like a la carte per item, but maybe there's bulk pricing if you book 10 sessions, or maybe there's you get a discount if you do the Matterport and photo. Like I'd want to see that in the pricing section. But I also don't know his pricing structure, so I'll just leave that out for now. Okay, now let's go into this hero section. Obviously, we've got the navigation taking up way too much space. We've got all this dead space below. The image is not filling. And then we've got this image of what looks to be a living room and what I'm guessing his unique selling proposition, one-stop shop for real estate media. Okay, so a few things here. I think in general, what we want to do for a hero is we, especially for someone that's never heard of him before, we want to focus on building trust. So I do know from Slavin that he has all these reviews from Google. He has an exceptional 5-star reviews on Google, which is really good. So I would have in the site navigation on the hero, I would have that front and center. So a pre header, like a little eyebrow that has maybe a couple of their faces, and then 5 stars, and then maybe in Texas in parentheses says on Google or Google reviews, and then below that big text of what is his unique selling proposition. I've got two things here: one-stop shop. So sounds like he can do multiple things. So if that's his selling proposition, um, that that should be communicated there, and I think can be done in a bit more active language. One-stop shop for real estate media doesn't explicitly say um, how I'm benefiting here. I know also, he's got 24-hour delivery. So I would have a pretty clear title text about why, essentially like why are we going to work with Slavin over the next real estate photographer, and then underneath that having some supporting copy that's maybe supporting copy is like guaranteed 24-hour delivery, top quality retouch photos to your own specifications, etc. Printable custom flyers, whatever, just a few of those key things, and actually remove this section with that. And then going into the visual, it's always a good idea to have a human in the hero image. So, obviously, image size and scale aside, he's got this image of this living room, which of course looks like a quite upscale place. What I'm missing here is how is the visual serving the story? If it's a one-stop shop for real estate media, how does this image show me it's a one-stop shop? It's just an image of a living room. So what it's showing me is a real estate photo. It's not showing me one-stop shop. So the image and the copy are disconjointed. So what I would probably suggest for him is, maybe a hero image that actually alludes to the fact that he has a lot of services that he's providing in one, or at least provide a human context. So maybe it's actually a really nice living room like this, but then it's actually Slavin behind the camera where he's, showing he's confident and relatable and all of these other things. But I think it's missing I would say a simple image is better. Um, it's missing a bit of the human element. So I would probably, if I were working on this for Slavin, I'd probably do maybe a small like primary image of Slavin behind the camera in context of a room, and then maybe some little bubble images of a real estate thing, a video thing, a Matterport thing, in these little kind of small adjacent visuals that would help support the fact that he does, all of these one-stop shop or whatever we sort out for the primary tagline on a site. Okay, I do think, yeah, a guarantee is really good. Guarantee 24-hour like timeliness saves real estate's time. That's a good selling proposition. So I think that could be pulled out. I think you can, essentially incorporate a lot of this into the services section and some of the bullet points for the hero, and maybe I'd put the guarantee, somewhere lower on the page, and make it very active voice, like 24 hours guaranteed, real estate photos in 24 hours guaranteed, or whatever it is. Something that's really strong and really, really shares that. So then we've got underneath this, we've got, okay, so we've got what are the benefits of a real estate photographer? This is obviously probably an SEO play. To me, this is more of a blog post. I would probably take this off, put it into the blog, which will help for SEO. I don't think a real estate agent coming to a site's deciding to use their iPhone for photos or use a real estate photographer. I think they're very aware of the benefits of using one. So I would strip this off the homepage because it's selling why photography, not why Slavin doing photography. So to recap a little bit, we've got the update. We do an update of the hero with key visual, you know, the little eyebrow to build trust, unique selling proposition, list of why work with him, and then we've got services with a visual and text underneath where a CTA they go to the services page. We'd remove this section here entirely. Testimonials are good. A few things here. This is, from a design standpoint, we should never center align paragraph copy. Center align should only be done for, something along the lines of a tweet. So very short character count, something like maybe that much copy. So this text should be left aligned. Also, the text is more important than the name and the title. So the text should be in higher contrast. The person's name and title should be lower contrast. When I look at this, I go to their name and the real estate agent versus the actual information. And I'd also consider truncating this, so having a top level thing, and then it's someone to be able to click view more to view the rest of it. Because right now this is a lot of copy, here within this module, and I think it needs to be a little bit more digestible. So it's kind of like give the audience the key information, and then from there allow them to view more, and maybe view more is actually takes you to you know a full page of testimonials as well. Or it has, maybe you have a link here and it says read our reviews on Google, so someone can kind of outbound to here and go through these reviews here on their own, which is really good. I think it's really impressive to have 5-star rating, and he's got 34 reviews. That's quite impressive. So, and then going in below that, I think for me, from a UX perspective, a contact form, especially if we're really focused on this timeliness and like we're here to go quick and move fast, the contact form isn't doing anything for me. It's like I don't know how long it's going to be till you respond to me, and that's going to drag out the process. So what I would suggest for him is actually do an integrated calendar system, have that embedded here on the homepage, where someone, prospective real estate agent, could go and like click, okay, tomorrow at 10 a.m., 15-minute intro call with Slavin, boom, done. They'll have it integrated into their calendar system, and it's not something they have to wait around, and they can kind of plan for it. So that would reduce a bit of the friction there for those first time agents working with them. And then of course featured list. I think this is nice. Maybe some visual cues would be helpful. But again, I don't know if it should be that busy. But again, I understand these are kind of like helping build some credibility, which is fine. The about page, again, there's a lot of the overall, it's like he's got his core information here, some layout issues with the very far left aligned. It's like dead space here between the image and the copy. Um, I would maybe break these things down into some separate elements. So maybe it's like a title, one paragraph, title, one paragraph, title, one paragraph, title, one paragraph. So it's a little more digestible than just a full read through. Again, customer reviews. This isn't accessible. This blue on this dark blue. Um, People with visual impairment cannot read that. I think as a whole, this is good. Obviously, I think this is probably some API integration. I'm more important on the copy than it is on the image. Like these people's images are huge compared to the copy, I think. And also there's some weird layout stuff. So I would want to ask him, well, let's see. Courtney Weaver is the last one. Courtney Weaver is not the last one here. So it doesn't look like it's pulling from it because he has, oh, maybe it is. Yeah, okay, 2 months ago. Yeah. Okay, so it is automating from there, but you can also see the difference. Like Google has small thumbnail, name, review, copy. And this is also what I was saying, like view more. Um, oops. Having a bit of truncated text is helpful when doing the reviews, but obviously, like, this is fine. I would maybe also have a review section in the bottom or testimonials that can be linked from the footer for this. I don't know if it necessarily says, um, I don't know if it's necessarily super helpful there. Also, why should you work with us? It's a weird copy. Us, and then it's an individual, Slavin Hurtado. It's plural for a single person, so I don't think that that copy should work. I think you could have something a bit more, yeah, a bit more personal, like a little bit more activating and confident, and you know, a bit more direct in language. So, and we've gone through these again, like services, do a single service page, and then from that service page, you could have links to the separate ones, but I don't think you need them within the site navigation. Um, Again, people know generally what the services are. You just want to show your visuals. You don't necessarily need to go through full descriptions. Having these pages are important, of course, because they help for search, but they are not as essential for the navigation. So, also the home, I think I mentioned it before, but the home button here, like the image, your hero title should always be actionable link to the homepage. You don't need a home button separate from that. So this is bad UX. And again, I would just have this plain text, Slavin Hurtado, and that would be the home. And then I'd have about services. I'd have pricing, portfolio, and then a big book now call to action. So let's go look at his portfolio. Um, I'm just gonna do something real quick here. So sometimes with websites, especially photographers, I'm just gonna look to see because there is a chance that there is a chance that he. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so he actually has. You can see here file size 33 kilobytes. So his web images are optimized, which is good. I think you know portfolio is obviously a nice gallery of imagery. Um, a few things I'm thinking here, like um, I think we can kind of embed a portfolio into the services, services page. So, the still photos could have its own gallery portfolio. The drone could have its own. The video could have its own, etc. Whereas this is kind of bringing everything. This just suggests to me that you're doing drone photography and of course real estate. I know you don't want to have Matterport in here because those are it's a different visual. So, um, but yeah, I think the portfolios generally helpful there. And then I know when you book, you're landing on this page. One thing is like you've got this logo here. Again, I would suggest removing it. You've got a wholly different branding here, so that's a brand inconsistency that they should be the same, even if it's not great design. Also, this is again, both of your logos are very tall. Like when working in a design standpoint, there should always be a logo that, can be vertical, one that works very horizontal, and then also one that works, say, in a thumbnail. So as an icon kind of thing, maybe that's just SH or some type of SH with the little box for the really, really small things, stuff about this size. Or about this size. So, landing on this, of course, he's got his phone number, email. There's some issues with the UX here, but that's none of your doing. I think they should have a login slash sign up. Login suggests you're an existing user, but if you're a new user, I don't see a sign up button. So that's bad UX on this portal site. But again, yeah, then you go into sign in and register. So I don't know if there's anything to be done there. I don't know what this portal is. So I'll omit that for now. So in general, I'll just recap some of the key things. You always want a CTA in the site navigation, a very clear, bold CTA that is explicit. Um, the hero section is really, really important, like the most important part of a web page. That hero section should include something that builds trust, your unique selling proposition, and then supporting information that someone needs, and a CTA to book. And then also the visual should be a bit more explicit. So it should have some element of a human in there. It could have him behind a camera. And then if it's one stop shop, then the visuals should be showcasing the multitude of media that Slavin's producing. So hopefully this is helpful. I know it was a bit long-winded, but with making some of these small changes, you can really improve your site performance. I would also look at if I was working on this site with Slavin, I would also go into Google Analytics and really see like what's going on, like what pages are people going to, what search queries are bringing them to a site, etc. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. Hope you learned a few things about web design and how to optimize your website to grow sales and convert traffic. If you're interested, I can also do a critique of your own site. If you're wondering how you could improve that, feel free to drop a link in the comments below, and I will look through those and see if I can go through and kind of analyze your site and provide some feedback there for you as well. Take care. Have a great day.